salt, not too much to this. And we can always adjust when we come back at the end, like I said. Okay, I can see this masala is going sticky now, so what I'm going to add is no oil, no butter. I'm going to add some water, just to make it saucier. And I'm also going to increase the heat now. Any more questions? And you can see the masala, like I said, if I had a blender, I would smoothen it, make it a little more of a paste than it is already, but it's quite nice anyway.
Sorry, could you also elaborate, like every Indian spice we use, like how you use it within other than the flavor, there's also that benefits as well?
Yes. So I just said that lots of our Indian spices have medicinal properties and values as well. Okay, ginger and garlic, as you know, is good for the heart. I'm not a doctor, so I'm just going by research, so please do not take my word for it, but according to research, I will go through some of the health benefits. Like I said, red chili is an excellent source of vitamin C. Turmeric has very good digestive properties. We also use the black cardamom, known to lower cholesterol, okay, and proven to lower cholesterol. But like I said, I'm no doctor, I'm going by the research or what the research has suggested. Cinnamon is supposed to improve blood circulation as well, which is another benefit of the spices. Another spice that I'm going to take you through, this is right at the end, is our garam masala. So if I can just speak a little bit about the garam masala. The word garam means hot, doesn't mean hot spicy, it just means a blend of hot spices. We actually make our own blend of spices in the restaurant. This has 15 whole spices within it, which have been powdered down. Okay, so I'm going to pass round a jar of our garam masala, and we do have quite a few jars, so if you want to buy that, that's actually the magic spice and gives the flavour to Indian cooking. It's £3. We don't have many, we have a few here. Okay, my masala is still going a little bit sticky. I'm going to need water again. You can open it and smell it, yeah, and you can then smell how intense it actually is. And that's actually another secret of cooking good Indian food. Also, just to bring your attention back here, what I'm doing is cooking off our tomatoes. In Indian cooking, it's important that our masala is not raw, so I'm cooking it off as much as possible. And what I'm waiting to happen is for the texture to change and the kind of rest of the oil to seep off the edges and the masala to kind of split apart. When the masala is splitting apart, I know that it's ready for my next ingredient. Now that could be chicken, that could be lamb. In this case, we're using soya mince. So that's why I'm letting my masala cook. This is the secret in our cooking. If you cook your masala as much as possible, you're going to have a great tasting curry at the end of it, okay? That garam masala that I'm actually passing around is a recipe that dates back 65 years. It was one that my grandfather came up with, and we're still using it today. And my father actually believes it's the secret in why a brilliant food is so brilliant. My father is giving me the thumbs up and saying my masala is ready, and I can see, and if I can show you as well, it's beginning to change texture and it's beginning to kind of tear apart. I was lucky with this masala, it didn't spit out at me, but if it had started to spit, then I would use the lid and just cover my masala sauce, okay? Okay, I'm going to add now my vegetable mince. If you were cooking with lamb, you would also add the lamb at this stage. The reason we use the whole spices such as cinnamon and the black cardamom is because it goes really well with any kind of mince. Chicken mince, soya mince, lamb mince especially. Okay, now the more of this I put in, the more you'll have to taste. And I'll tell you how much exactly I have put in. In here I had about 500 grams, so I'm going to tell you exactly how much I have put in once I've just combined this together with the masala. And I'll also need water. I think I should use just all of it. Let's just make all of it. No, there's some there. So I've used 500 grams of mince because I want you to have as much as possible, but I'm going to have to use a lot of water because soya mince does soak in a lot of liquid and does need water. So I'm just going to add about 200 milliliters of water. Like I said, at this stage, chefs could also add some butter, some ghee just to make it a little saucier and a bit more moist, but I'm substituting and using water instead. Any other questions?
What did you do to your mince?
What did I do to my mince? Good question. Okay, soya mince you can buy dry, you can buy frozen. Now both of them you need to soak in water. If you don't, unfortunately you get fresh chunks of soya, but you don't get fresh soya mince. So it actually comes in frozen. You then soak it in some lukewarm water for about 20 to 25 minutes, and then you sieve it. That's that. Yeah, good question. Oh, I've just been told you now can get it in the fish section in Tesco as well, so I'll be looking out for that. But we just think this frozen one works really, really well. You do get dried. We've tried it with that as well, which also works well. But what I find is when I'm at home and want to cook up a quick dish, instead of going out and buying fresh soya, which might last 3 to 5 days, go into the freezer and just use the frozen one. Because the frozen one doesn't have many preservatives and additives added to it, but yet it retains the flavor and the texture quite well as well. Okay, I'm going to also add my peas at this stage because this isn't going to take very long to cook. Once I've added my peas, I'll then adjust my seasoning accordingly. So again, you can use fresh peas. I know my mom likes to open them up and use them fresh at home, but frozen peas or tinned peas, preference again. And here we've got about 200 grams. I'm going to add all of them because we use 500 grams of soya mince. And you'll see it just gives a nice vibrant color to our curry as well. And I've got this, if you look at the heat, I've got it on quite a high heat. So it hasn't taken very long to cook because we've been cooking it on a high heat and I've been adding water as and when it's being heated as well. And you'll see from the ginger garlic paste that we used, we left the strands of ginger kind of quite chunky, and you'll see and you'll taste that in your mouth when you obviously have a spoonful full of this. It's supposed to be quite infused with ginger, and you should be able to taste the ginger come through as well as the other spices. So I'm just going to taste this now. As a chef, I'm not one of those chefs who doesn't believe in tasting when I'm cooking. I believe in tasting when I'm cooking, and normally by the end of it I'm pretty full. My dad likes to come to demos with me because he gets to taste, so I'm going to let him taste. And again, at this stage, if you think it lacks salt or seasoning, which my dad is going to tell me it does in a second, there you go, you can always add it. Okay? I think he's right. I'm going to add a little more. It's quite spicy, it's nice. Maybe half a teaspoon more of salt. We're not going to keep it too unhealthy, but it's quite spicy, so it's nice. Who likes spicy food? Good. Again, salt and chili is to taste. So if you don't eat it you don't like it too hot, you can mellow it down a bit. If your recipe book, for example, if my book says 1 teaspoon of green chili, you can add half a teaspoon. Okay, this is almost done. So what I'm going to do is add the finishing touches. My finishing touches are one of my favorite herbs. It's called the kasturi methi, which is fenugreek. Okay, again, really good digestive properties, and fenugreek also been proven to lower cholesterol as well. And what I'm going to add is about a tablespoon worth of fenugreek. But when I'm adding my fenugreek, I'm going to put it in the palm of my hand, and I'm going to crush it upon adding. It does have some crunchy bits in there. I'm then going to add that magic spice, which is the garam masala, so about a teaspoon of garam masala in there like this. I'm going to give that a mix, and it's also calling out for a touch more of water because it's sizzling, so I'm going to add just a touch. Give that a mix, and in about minute or so, this should be ready. So I'm going to add my final touch, which is the fresh coriander. Okay, fresh coriander. Coriander is one of my favorite herbs, and I always put lots of it in. Again, full of vitamins and full of minerals. So I'm going to add a handful of coriander, a little bit more for luck. Give that a mix. The reason we add coriander last is because it's one of the herbs that loses its flavor the quickest. That's why they say you should never freeze coriander. And when my mom does that at home, I tell her off because you should never do that. And garam masala also we add at the end so that it retains all the flavor. Right up until the end together with the fenugreek leaves. The reason we use dried fenugreek that I used and not the fresh is because the dried retains all the flavor just as well as fresh would. Fresh has water content, can be too kind of watery at times, so we don't want to use the fresh meat, so we use the fenugreek, which is full of flavor that is dried fenugreek. Okay, I'm going to switch off the heat now because this is ready, and you'll see from this, I'll ask you to come and have a look in a second, but you'll see that there's no oil floating, no fat floating on top of the curry, and you can enjoy this with a naan bread, a chapati, pilau rice, saffron infused rice, or anything that you wish to enjoy it with. Even a nice cucumber and onion yogurt on the side or a salad would be great with this. What I do with this mixture, I'm going to switch it off, but what I do with this mixture is I stuff mushrooms or tomatoes or peppers with it, put a little bit of cheese on the top and put it into the oven, and it's fantastic. It's one of my mom's favorite dishes, so she often asks me to make it for her. Okay, I'm just going to switch this off. And I'm just going to serve it in that karai over there. You can see the long strands of ginger, so I know it's going to be nice and flavoursome with the ginger as well. It actually looks like lamb keema. In fact, some people at the restaurant, when they order it, because it's on our menu, it's one of our probably best-selling vegetarian main course items, and when they order it, sometimes they don't believe that it's meat-free, so we have to show them the packaging. But I can tell you it's all meat-free. And I'm going to garnish this with a little bit of fresh coriander chopped, like this. And I'm also going to use some micro herbs, which are just salad kind of herbs that you can, again, use as per choice. So if you've got some lettuce, you can use lettuce leaves, shredded lettuce leaves. But I've got some micro herbs, so I'm going to put some micro herbs, which is a type of salad, just to make it look all nice and yummy. And if you want to take a picture of this, that is your finished vegetable keema, low fat, okay? Thank you. I guess you're waiting for me to say dig in, so dig in.